And we are live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Mr. A, with my partner.
Sally Sassong in the building doing the stimmy shimmy today, boy.
And this is the set 6145. As always, we have a special guest. We have a Mr. Robert Bobby Allende. I screwed up his name on the intro, but I'm correcting myself. Mr. Allende is a renowned percussionist. I think that's the best way for me to put it. Mm-hmm. Conguero, right?
Conguero. Mm-hmm.
I was watching some clips. Wow.
Yeah.
Dude gets down
early.
Yeah, for real.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because as I'm watching the clips, I was talking to Bobby, and I was telling him, I was like, I grew up. One of the things that I sort of have against my dad is that he never told me how to play conga, and my dad gets busy.
Right.
So I was telling him, he went out for a band because he was stationed out in Puerto Rico, and he went with one conga, and dudes was getting on him like from the start of the line to the end. They were just gigging. What are you gonna do with one conga? And he actually made the band.
Nice.
He gets busy, but he never taught me. So scrub.
Yeah, I had my grandfather played the guitar.
Oh yeah,
and my uncle had that Guido. To wake me up, boy. It was party time when I was living with Mikey and them.
Yo, but the Guido is the Guido is like, I kind of like that instrument. It's like a background that gives the music a lift to the music, right?
Yeah. Well, when I made the post for Bobby coming on, I kind of addressed it as that, like the congas, timbalero, Guido, like all that is part of a team that makes one, that band. When that singer, everybody just kind of coincide as one and lift. You know what I mean? So if one's off, they all kind of off. So it's kind of portrayed into sports also, like teamwork. You know, we need this guy, everybody to be good. Some guys are great, but we need everybody to be good and get us together as one.
Es un sofrito.
Yeah.
All the ingredients got to be there for it to be right and to be good, for real. And it's true. You said if a band is playing and the conguero's off, or if the guy playing the clave is off, or the piano, it'll just make everything sound crazy.
Right.
But he gets busy.
Yeah, man.
He really does. He gets busy. Salute to our brother all the way in Texas, Mr. Joey Santiago. We see you. The regular schmegula, Miss Angelica Reyes, Mr. Frank Simmons, our brother. Salute. We see you all the way down to ATL. I watched some of his clips, and I actually just seeing him work was just crazy. When musicians, they're super talented people in what they do, and they make it look so easy.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, he's been doing this a long time. But we're gonna get into that in the interview
for sure.
So what you want to run the track, and then we'll have a preamble, or you want to do it?
Let's give I want to give RIP actually.
Yes, please.
I missed it last week because we were doing Gus's show.
Yeah.
And RIP Joe Olivo, man, guy we grew up playing baseball with, and later on softball. Good man, left his family behind, had a stroke, I believe heart attack, and 49 years old, so right in our age bracket. So
man. This was sudden?
This was sudden, yeah. Like we just, got the word like last week, and it was like, wow, shocking,
I don't like hearing that stuff. He's our age, man.
Yeah.
And athletic, right?
He was just coaching his kids now. I don't think he played much anymore.
Right.
I have this argument with people all the time, play till you can anymore, man. You try to stay active, do whatever you could do, because
right.
Like a lot of people, I understand, you put your, stuff aside for your family and your kids, but you got to stay active somehow, like walk around, do something, man.
Yeah, you definitely have to. So that has to be, that this is the culture in this country. When we were going to gym, physicality was everything. Everybody doing something. And over the years, it's just changed. Like I can imagine what gym classes like now in high school. Like it's like nothing.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy. But, rest in peace to Mr. Olivo, and condolences to his entire family, man.
For sure.
Also to our guy, our guy, Pretty Lou, man, he lost his dad.
Yeah.
That's pretty tough, man. As I understand, he was super close to him.
Yeah,
so.
I believe they lost touch with each other. Like they kind of like fell out, and then they got back together recently. And I think this happened now. So yeah, that's tough, man. I always used to say that when mommy passed, like, was it better to have a strained relationship, or was it, that we were close and it hurts? You know what I mean? Like some people probably just like in their strained relationships, like, oh well, they move on. You know what I mean? We didn't have us that were close. We struggled with it.
I would imagine. I mean, for me, I would say have the close relationship, because
absolutely
in the close relationship, you're getting jewels, you're getting development, you're getting understanding and how to go on through life, and there's different things that they put into you. When it's love, there's so much that comes with that, right?
Yep.
They're gonna nurture you with certain things that if you're strained, you're gonna be going other places and probably learning some crazy shit.
Right. Whereas
you have somebody solid who actually loves you, they're gonna be giving you their all. So I would say, having that good relationship, and you learn how to deal with that shit. It never gets easier. You just learn more coping.
To cope it, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing that I've told a lot of people recently. Like, I had a friend that lost his mom and then his pops right behind her. And I was like, wow, that's tough. Yeah. But
you never, no matter how old you are, you feel like an orphan,
For real. That's a fact. But salute to my brother, Mr. Benny De Leon, all the way down in Florida. We see you. Our brother from the Breeze Shooters, Chris Soto, the better half of the team, the comedy relief. They got their feature film. I think it's coming out in Christmas. They're making they made a cameo. They got a part. So nice to the brothers, man.
Good shit, guys.
Chris, you got put the name of the movie up in the chat, man. I want to remember what it is. All right. So tonight, as I said, we welcome Mr. Robert Bobby Allende, conguero, salsero, super talented, super down to earth. We're gonna have the conversation, and hopefully we'll have a good time. All right, you ready, Sal?
Go. Let's do this.
Let's go. Good evening, everybody. It's Hump Day, Wednesday. It's the midweek, and I'm your host, Mr. A, with my partner.
Sally Song in the building. Stimmy shimmy. Let's do this.
And this is the set 6145. Tonight, as I stated, we have our special guest, Mr. Robert Bobby Allende, conguero, salsero, and I would say partial historian and philosopher, if you will.
Actor.
Yeah.
He did movies too, right? Didn't he do something?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have a conversation. I hope everybody in the room will enjoy it. I think it should be a good one because, of course, our background, we love our Boricua roots, and salsa is a huge part of that. And we, me, Sally, and myself, of course, music has been a huge part of our lives, just like everybody else. But I think it means something different to us in a different kind of way, right? So we're gonna bring in Mr. Allende, and we're going to have the conversation. I hope everybody enjoys it. Before we start, the movie is called Daddy of the Year, and I believe the Breeze Shooters play either two like muscle guys or enforcers, or they play two police officers. So everybody, I think that's going to be out.
That's Academy Award winning right there.
Oscars, bro. Oscars.
Chris, that's Oscars, boy. Bounces and law enforcement, either one. Damn.
So I think it's going to come out in the fall. I think it's either fall or Christmas movie, whatever have you. But we're going to be on the lookout for that. Enforcers. Okay.
That's
fucking Laurel and Hardy. I can see it now. But everybody be on the lookout. Of course, when it comes out, we're going to promote it. Salute to them. So, Sel, you ready? Let's have this conversation. Let's
bring Bobby, baby. Bobby.
Let's play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, this set welcomes Mr. Robert Bobby Allende.
Get him, Bobby. Get him.
I'm enjoying the music, man. Turn it off.
Well, you should. That was you.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I stole that from a clip of yours, and I was like, "Ooh,
You know, it's funny. It's
We
funny.
got to cut him a check now. Damn.
Yeah, man. You know what? Usually when people call me Rob, it's because they're gonna write me a check.
oh, well,
So
we don't have a budget, brother. Sorry."
yeah, it's funny because those things, and I say it with the most humble and the most humble attitude. Is those a lot of things I've been blessed to have been participated in many recordings, and there's things that fans come up to me. Oh man, what were you thinking when you recorded that? I'm like, I recorded that. I don't remember, because back in our day we lived in the studio, man. I mean, every week we would in the studio doing something. So it wasn't like, all right, who recording for whatever. They would call us there tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Studio would be there all day recording shit just came out. And at times we lost track of who we're recording for and things like that. So you
Gig musician.
Huh?
Gig musician.
Yeah.
We need a conguero for this. You get hired for the day. They pay you a fee.
Right. But this was studios.
Right.
This was all recording, and back in the RMM days, it was like I said, we recorded for everybody. This week we're doing this. Next week we got 3 tunes, or next week we're doing. I remember one time with Willie Colon, in 1 week we recorded 3 albums. We recorded
in 1 week?
In 1 week we recorded 3 albums. We didn't, man. We lived in the studio. And two albums were for Hector Lavoe, and one was for Celia Cruz. So, and that 1 week we recorded those 3 albums. Wow. Actually, those were the last 2 albums that Hector Lavoe did before he passed.
Wow. Stop right there, Bobby. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to put respect on this man's name. If you just listen to the list of artists that he ran down and what he contributed and the time, man, that's foundation music right there.
Mr. A, I was going to mention that in the intro. Actually, there's going to be some name dropping today. No. You know what I mean?
I'll try
name dropping.
I thought we were going to warm up to that.
Yeah.
You know me, I like to start at the
all
beginning.
In.
Right in.
That was a warm up.
Yeah. Well, good night, everybody. Show done. Oh man. Can I call you Bobby? Or
absolutely,
yeah,
man.
I ain't writing checks,
please.
so I'm gonna call you Bobby.
Please, man.
Bobby. So as always, I like to start at the very beginning with the people that we have on the show to sort of give the audience a roundabout understanding of where they come from, how it all started. So basically, as I understand it, you started learning fairly young, like around the age of 3 or 4. Am I correct?
Absolutely. In my home, it was either you had to be into music one way or another, because my uncles were musicians. They are musicians. They're still alive, thank God.
Yes.
My uncles, they come from backgrounds where my uncle Papiro played with Imael Rivera, Cortijo, all them people like that, Charlie Palmieri, people like that. And my uncle Angel, he was on the other side. He played with Tito Puente, but he went on to the American field too. He played with Stevie Wonder, with Buddy Rich, and people of that stature. So in my house, either you were a dancer, a musician, a singer, or you were the one that went to the store. You had a choice. But you had to. It was everybody had it. It was it still is in the blood in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
The talent, and I thank God. That's when we started being taught, and it's like this is what you had to do.
Was conga your choice, or was it something like you're learning this?
Actually, when I'm trying to go back. Mm-hmm. When I started learning, I remember we used to play congas or whatever have you. But my brother Tito was mainly the conga player, and we both played congas together. But when we went on to start doing shows with Tito Puente, I played timbales. Wow. So my uncle and my brother would usually play congas mainly, and I would play timbal. Mm-hmm. So that's it's you always have to be curious. Curiosity is good when it comes to the music world, because you never know. You don't want to be called only just because, there's called a conguero. You want to be called, well, that guy could come, he could play bongos, he could call him to play congas, or you could call him to play timbal. Right. And you always try to be as equal on all three. Just be
Versatile.
curious. Yeah, just be curious, because that's going to take you further. And curious and humble, those two biggest words in the music industry that's important to me, anyways.
Multifaceted, because
Something like that.
you're a rounded musician. To play multiple instruments does exactly what you said. It'll open up a lot more opportunities for you.
Oh yeah, and just it goes, like I said, it's a matter of listening and wanting to do it. Because there's a difference of wanting to do something, opposed to being forced to do something.
Right.
And I've been blessed. I've been blessed to be able to say I'm 55 years old and I lived all my life on music. Wow. And there's not many people, there's not many people that could say they love what they do.
Right.
I see people get up at 6 in the morning, have to take a bus, a train. They hate their boss, they hate their job, they hate their life, and then they got to do that every day.
This guy knows me. He knows me.
But and I thank God every day that I've been blessed and that I've been fortunate enough to be able to say I've lived off this.
Right.
Bobby. So Bobby, I got a question. You started at 3, right? Young, early. What was school like? How was school for you? Were you into the books? Were you like, did you care about school? Like, was it like, oh, you doing both?
I had to go to school. Went to school, enjoyed it. And the reason I was able to maneuver both, well, I started doing shows like about 7 years old. And the reason was, we would do a show with Tito Puente on Wednesdays at the Corso. At the Corso, I never forget it. Corso was the show time was on Wednesdays at 1:30 in the morning.
At 7 years old.
At 7 years old, imagínate. My grandfather was always the bulldog. He was there watching his kids and my mother and my sisters dance. We had a little routine going, and Tito Puente grabbed us and these are my kids, kind of thing. The Rumberito All Stars. Exactly.
And Jackson Cinco.
Exactly. And Jackson Cinco Hone. Pero,
dad jokes.
we started doing that, and I had to squeeze in school, and good thing I did. I made it all the way to high school, didn't go to college, but I made it, to high school. But back then I would do the show, make $15, come home, give my mother $7.50, and go to school the next day like I was a billionaire.
You're balling.
Well, what? I used to go to Mr. Softy and be like, listen, I want a vanilla cone with sprinkles and whipped cream. That was 45 cents.
Wow.
That was 45
They're
cents.
Like $4 now.
Yeah. Shit. Yo, and you was like, yeah, I made some money. That's but it was the beauty of the raising in that time, that era was.
That was the Eddie Murphy joke. I got some.
Exactly. But I made sure it didn't fall. I made sure I didn't drop that shit though.
Bobby, in that environment, because again, as you said, in that time, there was so much music, right? If you think of New York City and specifically in Spanish Harlem, because that's essentially where you're from, correct?
Right.
If you think about that time and think about the dance halls and the clubs, people, that was an event, and it wasn't just a weekend thing either. Right.
But these kids don't understand. These young musicians don't understand. I was having a conversation with Tito Nieves, and he texts me. He goes, "Check this out." I said, "Okay, read it." And Tito sends me a list of all the clubs we played back in the day. He stopped counting at 75.
Damn.
At 75 clubs, and now we're not talking about 75 clubs. Oh, maybe people come. 75 clubs that each had their clientele. So It wasn't you getting canceled because la gente no vinieron, and it's no. It was 7 days a week. There was something happening, and it was amazing. And it wasn't like you stepped on my shoe, te tengo que matar. It was like you stepped on my shoe, coño, me debo un par de zapatos ahora. No holy. You know how much I had to save for these shoes. It wasn't like today you step on somebody's shoe or whatever have you, and that's it. It's death.
Yeah.
But those times, man, I wish the technology we have today, we had them back then, and then these kids will really see what it was. So we could tell them till we're blue in the face, but they won't. But they will not know. They won't grasp that concept. because they don't have the vision of it.
Right.
They have our stories of it, but they don't have the intense vision and the footage that they have nowadays, you know. But I tell you, back in the day, and when I got my first major gig with a man, may he rest in peace, called Santiago Cerón. That was my one of my first steady gigs that I started traveling and whatever have you.
How old were you?
I was about 17, 18, something like that.
Teens.
Yeah. And first
and he
week,
was what? He's Boricua, Dominican.
he was Dominican Sacero.
Right.
And Pegao, I mean, this guy was playing. The first week I played with that man, I had 9 gigs in 1 week. 9 gigs was the first week.
Wow.
And from there on, there you go. Forget it. It was after hours, clubs. It was like nonstop, you know.
Where did you get the energy to do that?
Hey, when you're young and you're loving what you do, you find it.
I'm glad you said that, because 1, it says a lot about who you are, and 2, that tells me that you weren't divulging in things that would have hurt or hindered your career.
I thank God that I don't smoke, never smoke. I never done drugs, and I don't drink. And I've been to the heart of drugs. I've been to Colombia. I've been to places where you were offered fucking garbage can full of shit, you know.
Right.
And I thank God that He gave me and my compadre that we grew up together playing, and for over 48 years we've been playing together.
Wow.
And we had the willpower to know where it came from, to be able to say no and stick to no.
Right.
You know, because it's very simple. You don't need somebody to tell you what's wrong. If you use your eyes, you can see what's wrong.
Right.
You know, if you see what it does, I've always saw it in my perspective of it was, I seen people getting high and people drunk, and I always said to myself, I don't want to be that.
Right.
You know, that's all you need.
You work with Hector Lavoe, and like you said, you saw him pass. So obviously,
I work with Hector. I work with Frankie Ruiz. I work with all the guys that were indulged in all that stuff. You know, and to say the least, they made them no less of a great people. It was just their choices.
Yes.
And that was their choices, but they were great artists. I mean, I don't even know what words to find to describe how blessed I was to be in their presence.
Right.
You know, to be in their presence alone, you know, it's like,
it's a gift.
Oh, big time. You know, I don't even know, you know, sometimes I ask myself what I do to deserve it. You know, because people go, you know, oh man, you're blessed. No, we're all blessed. We're just blessed in different aspects of life.
Hard work.
That's it.
Were you a sponge, Bobby? Were you taking pieces from them, like learning and from these gentlemen?
I tried, you know, a lot of, like, I go into producing stuff, and I try to create songs and create chords, create ideas in the studio. I get that from, because I was 7, 8, 9 years old in front of the stage in the Corso, looking at Hector Lavoe, my idol, Eddie Montalvo, playing congas, you know, and I used to just stand there and just stare. And I used to, if you hear my early recordings, people thought I was Eddie Montalvo, because I was just trying to copy everything. Even the way he sat, I was trying to copy, you know? So those things, you know, you got Conjunto Clásico with Tito Nieves and stuff, that how they were creating chorus, how the creative aspect of it, what they were doing, how they did it, you know? So now later on in life, when I stepped into the producing seat, you know, I try to use what I saw and learned back then, what made people dance, what made people sing, what made people move. You know, not the watered down machine stuff that you could program and shit like that. You know, back then when it was 2-inch, and, you know, you had to cut the tape with a blade in the studio. You know, I got to record in Finance Studios and 440 and all those studios that were, you know, the hit makers, you know, where people made their hits. But it's where, you know, that I thank God for that era.
Right.
That taught me the little bit I know today.
Yeah, you felt the time that you were in and growing in to be playing in that pocket is amazing. I mean, I've listened to reel to reels that my dad had, and the music of that time was just amazing, raw, right? And you had all these different talents that were on the scene. Being a young man, being a kid first, and then being a young man during that time, you know, do you feel like people were more connected to the music back then than they are now? Especially,
absolutely, because you know the technology now is taking it, and it's what they don't understand is that there's nothing perfect in this world. Right. So that's what when I go to record, I emphasize it and I tell them, listen, I'm not trying to insult you in any way, shape, or form, but all those plugins and all that stuff that you had, please don't use it on my sound, because if I sound like shit, I want to sound like shit.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to, you know, just lie to people, because if I'm in here recording something and you're going to put everything else on it, that's going to put effects and all this shit that I can't do live, what's going to be embarrassed in the long run? It's going to be me, bro. And I don't need that. You know, I don't need it and I don't want it. And that's what made our music back in the 70s and all that stuff so fucking great, because the imperfection, the dirt on it is what made it great. The dancers and the singers that the wannabe singers, like you said before, drinking Rango and Miller, you know, they thought they were singers after they were drunk.
Schaefer.
Those are the people we cater to, and those are the people that enjoy. They didn't say, man, that shit is out of tune. I can't dance to that. No, it wasn't that. So the imperfection made it perfect.
For sure. It's like you put the needle on the record and you start hearing the crackling.
Exactly. Or it skips and you got to put a penny on the arm so it can, you know what I mean?
When you did that, you knew you were going to hear something amazing. You know,
exactly.
Something coming that you were like, "Ooh, I can't wait to hear this."
I don't know if you guys caught the verses of the Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind and Fire the other day, and it was just like, you know, they guys were singers. You know, you could see them live singing, and it was just incredible.
But there was no melodyne and auto tune and all that shit. What you heard is what you got.
You know, and they still got it. It's amazing.
Yeah. You heard Hector Lavoe. You went to see Hector Lavoe. You heard Hector Lavoe's voice like you. De ti depende. You heard Lalo Rodriguez. You went to hear. You heard Tito Nieves. That Pete Conde, Pacheco. That's what you saw and that's what you heard. Right. You know what you heard on the records. You know.
I'm listening to the names that this guy's dropping, right? And it makes me laugh and smile at the same time, because these are all names that my dad would go crazy over, literally, for the music. When I was a young teenager, you know, when I was a young, like 13, 14 years old, my dad used to be like, "Oh, that's Eddie Palmieri, and that's this one, and that's that one." And I used to be like, "Don't care." I was a hip hop guy. But I remember the music, and as I got older, it started to shift for me, and I became more interested in it, and it became a part of me. And I was like, yeah, that music is no fucking joke. Those guys were fucking badass.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. You had to respect them, because they didn't ask for respect. They earned it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that's the difference, whether it's music or personal life. Like I always learn, you can't tell somebody you got to respect me if you're disrespecting them. Respect is something you earn. You know what I mean? You know, but you know, it's then again, like we were talking earlier, it's your upbringing. Everything starts at home. That's why, you know, we try, but it's hard for us to accept the new generation, because that's not what we're used to. We're not used to talking back. I'm 55, and my mother tells me, shut the hell up, I'm going to shut the hell up, because she's capable of smacking the shit out of me. At 82, she's capable, but beside her smacking me, that's what I got to do.
The broom, anything's coming out,
bro. But that's what I have to do, you know. But these kids, they always have the last. They have to have the last word, you know. And you just hope for the best, man. You know, we have great kids. I'm not saying they're bad, because I mean I have 4 daughters myself, and that's not easy.
Oh, 4 girls.
I got 4 daughters, so that's.
How many guns do you have?
Huh?
How many guns do you have?
We're on air, bro. Can.
Oh, I'm snitching. My bad.
I got my Florida license, though. At least I got that.
Hey, that's all that matters, brother. So, man, I keep thinking about this. You know what I keep seeing in my head?
It's chuleta because you're hungry.
Don't tell everybody. Don't tell everybody. What I keep seeing in my head is the 50s and 60s, where our people didn't have a lot. So when they did go out, whatever money they could scrounge, or if they knew Tia was a seamstress or Theo had access to fabric from the fabrica, they would put their little pennies together and they would get dressed to the fucking nines.
Absolutely.
Even if it was a $2 outfit, right?
Even the bands.
Exactly.
You know, my mother, my uncles, and my aunts, they were all Palladium dancers. So my form of dancing, I learned because my mother and my aunts and uncles, because they were Palladium dancers. So that's the style I learned. Not all this, you know, flash dancing that's out today.
Right.
You know, it's a whole different ball game. You know, It's a whole different ball game. But I learned from that. You know, that was homegrown.
Right.
You know?
It's funny, Bobby, that like I remember as a kid, like my parents, you know, all the family parties and like the salsa came on. I used to be like Mr. A said, oh God, you know. And you know, then my father, you know, you have, you know, Cano Estremera and Gran Combo, you know, all that stuff playing. And as I got older, like you said, I started to appreciate it. And you know, then I went out and I seen the girls, and I was like, oh, I'm taking lessons, you know, like
you have to.
You know, it all intertwined. But you know, I started loving the music, and I still do to this day. But I feel like, you know, and I had this conversation with people before, like I feel like it's a dying breed. But you know, people say no, I say yes. What is your take on that?
It's a dying breed, but you know what? I look at it this way. When it was in the 70s, it was big ass afros and bell bottoms. It moved to the 80s. They started cutting their hair shorter and wearing straight jeans. Moved to the 90s a little more. They started wearing the skinny jeans and stuff like that, more cut hair, you know, different hairstyles, whatever. We're back in now 2000. Now what are they back to? Big afros. They wearing bell bottoms and stuff like that, and back to the skinny jeans again. That were back in the 70s, the skinny jeans. Right. Where they made, well, I'm sure you guys got family. If you wore a pair of tight jeans, yo, man, you can't breathe in those jeans.
Yeah.
But now
count the change in your pockets.
Yeah, yo, but exactly. And then, but now you look at it. Now you look at it, and they're doing it now. So my point to it all is that everything comes full circle.
Gotcha.
You know, people say salsa está muerta. It's just different. Right. We're going through different eras.
If you put good music out, I mean, people are going to listen. So
exactly. That's Absolutely.
Bobby, I got 2 questions from the room. These are 2 random questions. Question number 1 is, did he ever play in Las Villas? I don't know.
Oh my God. Las Villas was, you used to go to either 116th or 110th Street. And then you used to have like, I would say about 8 to 10 chartered buses. But what happened was you used to buy your ticket, get on the bus, and you go to La Villas. When La Villas used to have bands that used to come play. It was like at the lakes and stuff like that, but everybody gathered there. That's where everybody went. Bus is full.
Right.
But then you had this band called like Coca y sus Exploradores. Then you used to have a Gran Combo come play, and Tito, you have to, but the funny part about this, you know, people Ima Rivera used to go play, all these people. But the funny part about it is that Cocas y sus Exploradores used to play all the Gran Combo tunes, and then Gran Combo will come and play them again.
Oh shit! I can let it play. I'm gonna play this in the rerun. They were cover band,
but nobody cared.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. You had Coca, you had Gran Combo, then you had Larry Harlow with Imael Miranda or with Junior Gonzalez playing. You know, these bands this was like, and it would be like a weekend thing.
Yeah.
You know, but that was the thing that people gathered, and that was the unity. That was the beauty. Se emborrachaban, peleaban, lloraban, and then they would go and dance. You know. So, and that was the thing. And whoever asked about La Villa, they know about good times, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining the show, I'm your host, Mr. A, with my partner
Sally Sasson in the building. Stimmy shimmy today, baby.
And
thank you, Uncle Joe.
And tonight we're speaking to Mr. Bobby Allende, the conguero, salsero, and part-time historian. He's taking us down memory lane, and just speaking to the historical context of this music and dropping names. Whew, man, heavy. Salute to you on that.
Heavy duty.
For real.
Like I said, I just been so blessed, man. And I count, if I die tomorrow, I die happy.
Mira, deja eso.
You know, I'm saying, because I'm content. I got a great family, got my home, my wife, and I did what I was happy to do.
Right.
You know, I did what I was happy to do, and I continue. Thank God. Well, you know, trying to keep up with these young kids. You know, trying to keep up with these young kids. It's not easy, but you know, I'm trying to hang in there.
The second question from the room is, they wanted me to ask you if you ever heard of or played with Luis Barona, a piano player.
Luis Barona.
Yeah. Luis.
Is that the right name?
It's Luis, Luis, or Luis, and then Verona, Varona.
I don't recall the name. Ask him who did he play with. Luis Barona. I don't recall the name. I really don't.
Well, he's watching. If he can get it straight, Ethan, you heard the gentleman. If you could get it straight, yeah, definitely. Mrs. A said we need another Las Villas, and the gentleman, Mr. Benny, Florida, to you answering about Las Villas, he said absolutely.
Yeah, man, those are great times, man. I'm telling you, those are great times. And you know, with your La Villa and Central Park. Central Park was a mega place for the rumbas on Sundays. You had rumbas that would go all day long. You went there, you saw the who's of who going to the park to play, or they played in the band shell. If there's I think on YouTube there's a thing where there was a show and they invited us to play. My brother and I played, featured on there. And I'm telling you, on that show was La Lupe, Eddie Palmieri, Orquesta Flamboyant, bro, you name it, that whole thing. You see the 70s people, the Afro, no shirts, the weed smoking, and you know, it was crazy, you know, acid days and shit like that, you know.
It's funny because if you look at the footage from then, right, and people ask, you know, why can't we do this now? I'll tell you why. Because for the last 20 or 30 years, people have been eating shit food, and we've all been bloated up. If you look from back then and you see people, the predominant shape of everybody
everybody was skinny
because they're eating whole food. Right. Everybody was eating whole food, and mostly inside. Everybody's eating at home. And
it wasn't, you know, even the medication. I mean, I think as kids they even made us eat Vicks because they wanted to make sure it get inside, bro.
Drop it in the soup.
Yo, toma media cucharada de Vicks, and your ass was burning up inside. Tranquilo.
You put that shit in your eyes. Make sure you stay sleeping.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't open my eyes. I dormí toda la noche.
Or the house parties. Don't tell them you sleeping under the coats.
Yeah.
In the room. That shit was warm.
What? Wow, that's bringing back wild memories.
Yeah. Those are great house parties, man.
Hell yeah.
Great house parties.
It was like every weekend. Like almost every weekend there was a party. You're like, what's going on? The house just got dark. I smell food. The liquor's coming out. What's going on? Oh, Theo Titi's here. What the hell? Oh, my cousins is coming. And the music starts getting louder and louder and louder. Man.
And then, you know, my mother's house was the place.
Yeah.
Party place. And then if I went out, we went somewhere else, you know, and it'd be like, ma, pero estoy cansado. Está durmiendo en el cuarto. Te para el carajo para allá porque yo estoy bailando aquí.
Yeah. Man.
You know, but
you gotta definitely love those times, man.
Oh, I absolutely do, man.
And this is something that we also spoke about, and I think everybody in the room should sort of, you know, this is a topic that's off of music, but I think it's important that we touch on it. I was speaking to Bobby before the show, and I asked him, did he believe that we as a people were more connected and more unified and more loving when we didn't have a lot and we were poor? And you know, kids today, you know, they have everything, and families are just so disconnected. Bobby, I want you to speak about what your family unit was like.
Well, first of all, before we speak on that, is that what's wrong, in my opinion, I'm not God, I can't tell you, I can only give you my opinion. I think what's happening is that the kids look at everything that's on the internet, you know, the Kardashians, you know, this and this and that. So the girls think that they have to, you know, get, you know, overly, you know, not eat to look like, you know, a model and this and that, you know, and what they don't have, they do whatever they can to get it because the other person has it. Where if we didn't have it, we were satisfied with what we had, man. You know, you know, these kids don't understand. And I tell you one, and I say probably I don't give a damn. You know, I know what it is to to have a pair of jeans where you had to keep bringing out the hem as you grew, and you had the white line in the bottom. Was what it was, bro. Yep. Was what it was, and you had to make it through the years with the 2-3 pair of jeans you had, whatever, man. But it was what it was. Right. And I tell you, man, if I was able to go back in time, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change the upbringing because it made me who I am today.
Right.
You know, it made me appreciate what the little that I had because of where I came from, because I was a welfare child, you know, because we were poor but happy at the same time. You know, I knew what it was when my mother started slamming the cabinets is because the carteros didn't bring the fucking check and the cupones didn't come. No hay carne hoy. No joda.
Arroz con huevo hoy.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, and
you were lucky.
My younger daughter's an also because she likes the spam and she likes rice and eggs. She like that. Maybe the arroz con andule with the egg. You know, and that's some old soul shit that we were like, that shit was like, that was filet mignon for us, bro.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The wish sandwiches, the mayo. Damn, I wish I had some cold cuts.
Yo, that's what I told him. I said the mayonnaise sandwich tastes like steak sandwiches. When we came from school,
those are wish sandwiches.
Yeah, when Bobby said, I grew up being poor, you know, when he said mayonnaise sandwiches, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I wasn't even there for that combo.
Bro, yeah, before you came on. When he said mayonnaise sandwiches, I remember, 446, third floor. That's when I was big on them. As long as the bread was fresh, even if
my God, the Wonder Bread, it was fresh.
Right. But if it was fresh and you said, man.
And you went for seconds.
Yo, my mother used to fuck me up, yo. What? You eating all the bread?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fucking starving. I'm running around everywhere.
I wish you had some ham and cheese with this, but whatever.
You came from school running around outside, and you came up and the food wasn't done, or no había carne. It was like, give me them damn sandwiches, man. Eso lo que va.
Yeah,
lo que va.
The kids struggle nowadays is no Wi-Fi. That's the struggle now.
Oh my God, they're ready to commit suicide.
You know what's crazy about that we're speaking about this? Because I see how these kids are. Like I have two children. Well, they're not children. They're young adults. They're in their 20s, right? And when I see them interact with their friends or their friends come to the house for dinner, they're like, their friends get weirded out because we're like, yeah, we're going to eat now. Come sit your ass at the table. And we sit, the kids, you know, my kids come and they sit down and their friends are like, y'all sit down at the table and eat? Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah. Every night we sit down and eat. And mommy cooks and she cooks a whole meal and she, you know, there's no bullshitting and we talk about the day and whatever. These kids have no concept of family.
And that's what happened now in this pandemic. But like I was telling you before, what it is, it's not a pandemic, it's a reset. It's a reset because now during this pandemic, this whole year, you were forced to talk again to your family instead of being there texting, I'm down the block or whatever, whatever. Now you were, during this pandemic, you forgot what it was to sit and have a decent dinner with your family, or to sit and have a movie night, or have a decent conversation with your family. You know, and it was forced, but it was necessary. It was needed.
If you were smart enough to take advantage of that.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. But it was needed, man.
I think a lot of people realized that they really didn't like who they were around. Like they don't, you know what I mean? Like they were forced to do so, and came to the understanding like, wow, I really don't like my husband, or I really don't like my wife, or my kids are really spoiled, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like to reevaluate, and adjust, and to make the necessary changes.
Absolutely, man.
People have, but a lot of people just went off a cliff.
Right.
Yeah, man. But that's why in this whole time, the key to this is not the news, not the medicine, and nothing. Is mind strong. If you're not mind strong, you're done. Once they get in here, everything in life begins here. You have to think to walk. You have to think to talk. You have to think to get up. You have to think to go to sleep. Everything is controlled here. So you have to be mind strong, and we'll get through it. Yeah, you know, there's sicknesses, but you know, a lot of people were sick before this. This just enhanced it.
Right.
You know, unfortunately.
Bobby, you play baseball?
I do. I play softball.
A friend, I don't know. Sally, you see that comment by Ulysses? Let me pull it up.
Yeah. I was gonna get into that later, but we'll get into that later.
My good days, Ulysses.
Okay.
Ulysses.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, man, we played a lot of ball, man, and I play with the 50 and over, and sometimes I play with some other teams out here in Staten Island, and it sort of keeps me young, man. And I believe you had my nephew on recently, and and when I was one of the ones responsible to teach him how to play baseball, and when he started hitting it out the park, I said, "Ahora te jodiste, bro. I ain't pitching to you no more. You go get the fucking ball."
Listen, Bobby, go ahead.
That gentleman that we had on, Mr. John Rodriguez, if I'm not mistaken, JJ.
Yes.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to let Sel ask you his question. The impact, the foundation that you set in place for that man, to see who he has become, you must be mighty proud.
Oh, extremely.
Salute to you for picking up and making that happen, man, because he speaks to you in like a way that just...
You stole my question. Don't worry about it. That's years of living together, on the same block. So
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, he's I'm quite I proud of being understatement, to where he was and to where he. And I remember when I got him tryouts and all. I'm sure he tell you all the stories. And but when he called me one time, they sent him to Dominican Republic. And he goes, "I want to go home." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, there's brown running water over here. The fields are fucked up. They got holes all over the fields. It's crazy. And the food is horrible. I said, "You know what that is?" He goes, "No." I said, "That's boot camp, stupid."
Yep.
That's boot camp. That's to see if you have it to go through the rough times. That's what you go through. That's you have to climb that ladder. They're going to see if you're weak or you're strong. They're going to try to knock you down before they pick you up.
For sure.
And that's where you are right now. They're going to say, if you can make it there, he's won.
Sky's the limit.
Right.
And that's, things like that. And he was, he got through it. But I mean, you got guys that were Major League Baseball for years and never even got to the World Series, or let alone a ring. Right. And he got both. Right. I remember the call when he got called up to the Cardinals. I was driving on the FDR. I had to pull over. He called me. He goes, "You ain't gonna believe it." He was crying on the phone. I'm like, "What's up?" He goes, "I just got called up." Like, what he told? Like, "Yeah, I got called up I gotta go to St. Louis tomorrow." So, all right, no problem. I'll see you there.
Were you calm? Were you that calm?
No, I wasn't. But
he's down. You see,
he had to pull over.
He's fucking cool as shit. Just I fly down tomorrow.
Yeah, no. So I got home, packed my shit, and I went out the next day.
It's like, "I'm gonna go make a mayonnaise sandwich, and I see you tomorrow."
This one's gonna have some ham and cheese.
Yeah. So Bobby, going back to like bringing up the baseball stuff. So I heard you met Osvaldo Guillen, right? Ozzy Guillen. You good friends with him, or how's that?
He's an asshole.
There goes that.
He's an asshole. No, what happened was
he's joking.
I was in Puerto Rico. On a tour, community tour with Mark Anthony, and we're playing this club called the Copacabana, I believe it was.
Name dropping.
And there's more names coming. So, so my compa and I were playing with Mark Anthony, and in comes Ruben Blades, because what happened was the baseball players used to have a thing. Carlos Baega used to put a big celebrity softball, baseball, whatever thing week in Puerto Rico. And it happened to be that week. So Ruben Blades comes, he always goes, "Oye, cabezón, come over here." I'm like, "Ruben, what do you want?" He calls both of us. He goes, "I need you to meet somebody, because this fucking guy's been busting my ass all day. We went to play golf, and he's like, Bobby Mark the whole fucking day. I need you to meet this guy. Talk to this guy." And
Mark Quinones, is that your partner?
Yes,
right?
that's that. So we go over, and it's Ozzy Guillen. He's like, "Coño, man, qué placer conocerte, this and that." And Ozzy goes, "Man, I'm a big fan of you guys. I know everything you recorded on. I've been following your career." And Mark and I looked at each other like, "Fuck is this nigga talking about? This guy's worth millions." And he's talking about, "Oh, I'm a big fan of you guys, and I follow you." Long story short, he baptized my daughter. We're like brothers. It's not a time that we don't talk. We talk almost every day. We don't talk. We text, and his family and us, and because of Ozzy, also because of Ozzy, I got to visit all the ballparks, all the baseball parks all over the world, and I got to steal a lot of gloves and bats and stuff like that. So
You borrowed them.
yeah, uniforms.
Like, man, this guy dresses nice in softball.
You ain't lying, because I used to, compadre, I used to sponsor. I need a team sponsored. He'd send us all the uniforms from the Marlins or the White Sox, and
nice,
and a whole box of fucking batting gloves, and be like, people wanted to play on my team because they knew I was getting some quality shit.
Probably got the hookup.
You know,
where's Ozzy at? Let's see what team he's on.
He would, shit like that, but it was great, man. It was fun. But he's you see Ozzy on the internet, on TV, whatever, that's the Ozzy you're gonna get.
He's real.
He is so pure. I'm talking about to the point where he was in my house one time and the toilet got backed up and he went in there and put his hand in the toilet to fix it. That's how real. You're like, he's sitting here in my house with some. I'm not gonna throw the other names of the ball players out in my house because
why stop now?
Yeah, exactly. Why get humble now? Come on, line them up. Let's go.
So they hang it, and that's just him. The girls love him because he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He is who he is. He is who he is.
That's the most important thing to be. Your true, authentic self all the time.
Yeah, that guy used to take us every year. He had a fundraiser in Venezuela, and he made. Mark Quinones and I were always in charge of putting the band together because it was a foundation. He would take us there for a week. We'd play softball. We'd have barbecues. We have the auction. We have the concert, and then we have a chill out day after. But it was fun. One time we go, it was Tito Nieves, Ruben Blades, Domingo Quinones, and stuff like that. So that was the artist for the concerts that night. So every year Venezuela was our trip. And I mean, red carpet treatment. Because big in Venezuela, him, Freddie Garcia, Hugo Rubina, Bob Abreu, all those cats were like
Andres Galarraga.
They were our chauffeurs. That was the great part about it.
Wow. What?
I swear to God, I swear to God, you know what it is? You get to Venezuela, and you got Freddie Garcia driving, you got Hugo Rubina driving you around. It's like,
wow.
But they were great. They're great guys. These guys are amazing individuals, man. You
gotta love, especially Sally. I'm sure you could relate. You gotta love how everything intertwines with sports, right? Musicians, athletes, and when they're around each other and they congregate, the love is real. You have great admiration for each other. There's respect, and you guys get together and just have a good old time. And
absolutely,
it's a beautiful thing to see that because como la gente está junto, is a certain amount of pride that we have.
And it's a run-on joke with the baseball player because every baseball player wants to be a musician. Every musician wants to be a baseball player. So, these guys, but Ozzy will tell you, he tells us all the time, he's always arguing with us. Yo sé más de salsa que ustedes. That's it. But he has a cave in his house in Venezuela. You go out his house, you go down to the cave. That's where he has it's like a bar with a whole music. It's a deck of disco. And they have music like you would not believe the music they have.
And their salsa, the Venezuelan, Colombian, that's kind of like a different salsa almost, right?
Right, but they love our salsa. They know everything. You go to Venezuela, any artist, and you got young kids, 15, 16, 17, singing shit from the 70s, 80s, 90s, because they love the music so much that they know it. It's not like here, 16-year-old, you go Hector Lavoe, they go, who?
Wow.
What the fuck is that?
Right.
Over there, they'll tell you the history, because they know it, they live it, they love it. They love it.
The thing about it is that, buddy, I see you. The thing about it is that when you go outside of America, right? Because America is so, we as a people, not we, but we, the country, are so coddled, become complacent, right? When you go to some place like como Venezuela or Cuba especially, those people, they're educated, right?
Yeah.
So tú puedes ver un hombre, una señora, caminando por la calle, and you engage them in a conversation. That person could turn out to be a historian, English teacher,
absolutely,
y está vestido como un homeless. right? And it goes back to what we spoke about earlier about judging people by what you see.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
We wear expensive clothes. We got the fancy cars. Dumb as shit. We don't know nothing.
Exactly. That's so
bro,
true.
yeah, and bro.
That's so true. Because you wanted to, but it's like, watch it. We go around the block. Check this out. It's like, and you're playing your music all loud, but to entertain the motherfucker that don't even help you pay for your car note. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's exactly. It's what priorities, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's priorities.
It's a shame. It's a shame because our kids are gonna lose.
Yeah, that's what I say every day. I say I'm not afraid for myself. I live what I have to live, whatever. I'm afraid for what awaits our kids. The route we're going in right now, what we're seeing to what we know is supposed to, the way it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hurting inside because I know what awaits our kids if it doesn't straighten up and get to where it's got to be. They're in, and hopefully, I hope I'm wrong, and hopefully they'll adapt and adjust to whatever comes their way. But it's going to be harder for them. It's going to be much harder for them.
Let me interrupt you for a second there. But Sel, you want me to take you out the room so you can fix your shot? Like an earthquake?
Yeah, I'm just I was cramping up, so I had to stand up.
Oh, está poniendo viejo este tipo.
Yeah. Dehydrated.
You want some big gay, bro?
Vicks. I need Vicks. Take me out the shot. I'll fix this. I'll fix it.
All right, stand by. So, Bobby, while we wait for Sully to come back in the room, I want to ask you, and this was something that was in the back of my mind. What was because I hear you've performed since you're so young. So I would understand that, your first performance, especially in front of a large audience, would probably not be traumatizing, but almost like overwhelming to the point that you feel like you're having an out-of-body experience, right? Mm-hmm. Now, as you're growing up and you're going through different performances and playing with different artists and so on, right now in this moment, what would you say is your most memorable that you felt so, like charged up, like, oh my God, this is happening. Like, what was one of your most memorable performances?
There were many performances. I thank God once again. Mm-hmm. And I say it in the most humble way. There were many performances. I got to play the Garden when I was 7, 8 years old with Tito Puente and Julio Iglesias. That's 20,000 people. And I'm like, okay, let's go, whatever, play Carnegie Hall with Ruben Blades, all the stuff, have family there. But one of my most memorable moments, it's kind of an emotional one because it was special in a way, because again, just like yourself, I wasn't brought up with my father, mm-hmm. And my last name is not even my father's last name. I don't have my father's last name. May he rest in peace. Mm-hmm. And I still love him dearly. It was when I first the first time I played in Puerto Rico at a place called Bellas Artes. Bellas Artes is like, I don't know if you know Bellas Artes. It's like the Carnegie Hall of Puerto Rico. When you go, if you make it to play in Bellas Artes, you have a name.
Right.
You have a name. So I got to, there you go.
A little better.
I got to go to Bellas Artes. Mm-hmm. And the moral of the story is I went to Puerto Rico. I'm excited to be in Puerto Rico to play for a whole week and got to spend some time with my father. That's where he lived. So we went to a conversation. Well, even before the conversation. Right. I told the management I need tickets, for my father, my stepmother, whatever. Mm-hmm. They're like, no problem. We got, you have your tickets, your comps, whatever. Have you, little did I know that my father's tickets were in the front row. Wow. So with me performing, looking out to finally see my father sitting in the first row, like I said, it's a little emotional for me, but
no, take your time.
He it was after the show, just to see the glow on his face, to see his son on such a big stage, and then the conversation came, where he asked me, did I want to change my last name? and I was like, no, because my last name isn't going to justify who I am or who you are for that matter. Because no matter where I go, where I stand, you're still going to be my father, and I'm going to still look for you, and I'm never going to deny you. And I made sure that was always the case. So for me, that was the most memorable and one of the biggest performances of my career.
I don't think anybody really understands how much it means to have validation for the man that you call your father.
Exactly.
You never understand unless you're in that situation.
Yeah, it's and that's the first time I've ever told this story, to tell you the truth. I've been on quite a few shows, but it's the first time I've been asked.
The set does it again.
No, I appreciate that, man.
Thank you, Bobby.
For real, that's really personal.
No, definitely. It's one that lives,
Mm-hmm.
And and then thank God, every time I went to Puerto Rico's first call I made, I would go and I got to hang with my father.
Did you, I understand you said your dad passed away.
Yeah.
Did you come to terms and finally forgive him before his passing?
I never held any against him, so there was nothing to forgive.
Okay. Wonderful. That's good. That's good. A lot of people, some people carry that with them and don't realize that not forgiving that person is not for them, it's for you.
It's for yourself, right?
And it becomes an anchor on who you are. And
you can't ask somebody for forgiveness as well as you can't forgive, because the only one that can forgive and be forgiven is God. That's his choice.
Right.
That's his choice. We're not here to determine anyone's punishment.
Right.
We're leased vehicles.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
Vessels.
That's what we are.
Yeah.
We're leased vehicles, and we all have an expiration date, man.
Yeah. Did you learn that sort of understanding, from your mom? Was that taught to you by your family members, or was that something that you came to understand on your own?
I eventually I learned more about it, but I learned it again. Your eyes are your teacher. Right. Those are your teachers. If you stop and analyze, you always have to stop and analyze something before you react. And I wasn't always that way. Neither I know nobody is, because sometimes we react to something not thinking. Right. And like I tell my kids, the famous line that all the kids they say is, but let me learn on my own. Why are you going to learn from something I made a mistake with? Yeah. If I'm telling you, don't go around that corner, there's a dude with a gun that's shooting everybody that goes around the corner. You're going to go and go, what is it? Down. Yeah. Because that one mistake could be the fatal one. So I'm not, like I tell my kids, I don't tell you anything I heard or somebody else told me. Everything I tell you is because I seen or I lived. Bottom line.
Reoccurring theme with me and my partner here, with discussions that we've had with people on the show, that one decision, it only takes one, and
that's it.
It could throw your life like into a tailspin.
It's just like your upbringing of your kids. You spend let's say 17, 18, 19 years teaching your kids the right way. You got your kids, your daughter, your son going the right way, thinking the right way. And it takes one person to undo those 19 years in one day.
For rebellion.
One day.
Falling in love or something.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And like people say, I've been doing this. I could say I've been doing this for 48 years. Doesn't mean I've been doing it right.
Right.
There's people that stay in relationships their whole life and they want to leave because of the kids.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I could relate to I've had my fault, of how do you say this? Judgments, right? Like I felt like that animosity and certain things towards people, my dad sometimes before also, and then I started to realize as I got older, what did that man go through? You wasn't around what he went through.
Exactly.
Certain things that, so I just started to live my life. I can't worry about what, they do. I have to do what I have to do.
Exactly.
And that's how I kind of adjusted.
You know what?
But I went through a spiral. I went through a spiral.
You have to. We collected our lumps, and thank God we're here today to speak about them. That's the important part, you know. And like my grandmother always taught me, whatever you give, whatever you give, you're gonna get back triple in life. You know, so I always try to give people something I don't even fucking have.
Right.
You know, but I found a way to try to do it because it's the way I was fucking taught. You know, that's the way I was taught. I was taught to see my grandfather downstairs, you know, in the summertime building a piragua truck so he can go 3 blocks away and was piragua truck in the summer to make his money. And then he would go cook for a daycare center in the morning, you know. So those are things you know, I knew what 50 cent meant because 50 cent meant he hit a number, he gave me 50 cents, and I'm going to the corner, I'm going to the candy store because I came back with a brown paper bag full of candy for 50 cents.
The penny candies.
But it was the
big bowls.
This is where we learn. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So this is where we learn from, and that's what made us. That's why we see things from a different perspective. You know, now it's like these kids gotta have sneakers that cost $180. You know, and don't get me wrong, I'm a sneaker fiend, but I work for mine. I'm a sneaker fiend. That's my drug of choice.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But there's kids that really need to have it, not having it, but they need to have it. Kids that, you know, $180 sneakers. You know what? $180 that paid rent in the fucking project back then, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, back then. Not now.
Yeah.
No.
You know, but,
you know, it's crazy though. That's one thing I say about my kids. They're not into the fashion like I was probably more like Justin the Jordans growing up, stuff like that. But I've had to debunk a couple. Like they'll check the internet. Oh, Dad, Walmart this or this, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, and I'm like, you see, like, don't believe everything you hear on the internet. I'm always debunking shit. Like they're not raising my kids like I'm raising them.
Right. So yeah, my daughters. You know, I thank God. I think my wife and I have done pretty good job. My second marriage, my oldest from my first marriage, but you know, I've got daughters. I mean, I thank God, and I don't wood. And I tell every day, you know, my oldest is 33, and she's a big property manager. And I said, I wish at 32, I was making 6 figures and had a fucking high-rise apartment. And it's like George Jefferson, you know.
Moving on
so
up.
Yeah, you know. So, and I look at that and I go, wow. My other daughter has a beautiful apartment on the beach, has a great job, and her kid, you know, her daughter and her husband, you know, so. Okay, you know.
Yeah.
And they're not on drugs. They don't have 30 kids.
Nobody's on the pole.
Exactly.
You know, there's anything wrong with that? But yeah,
just not my daughter.
Yeah, just not. We're fucking selfish.
But you know,
don't take offense. I'm not trying to be sexist or anything. I'm just, you know, that's just
too late.
Yeah,
too late. They just keep us off the air.
Oh, well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining the show, I'm your host, Mr. A, with my partner,
Mr. Sally Sasson, with a bad shot right now, brother. We good. I'm cramping up. I'm sorry.
Yo, where the fuck does the Sasson come from, bro? You're a salty dude, bro?
Yes, I'm salty. I could be salty. Absolutely, I can be salty.
Capricorn. This guy holds.
I'm your best friend.
Yeah, until
you do me dirty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Listen. This guy has been. He's been my friend since we're children, and even he and I have argued and gotten into stuff. And you sensitive. Fuck you. You're a piece of shit. You know everything. But at the end of the day, even after years of being disconnected for a while, I could call this dude, correct me if I'm wrong, at 3 a.m. and be like, yo, motherfuckers at my door.
And be there.
And he'll come guns blazing.
We're burying them.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying?
Where we're moving these bodies to.
Yeah, exactly.
I know the feeling. Like you mentioned Mark Yonis. Mark Yonis and I was 7 and he was 9 when we met. And we still play together till today. He's best man in both my weddings. He's the godfather to 2 of my kids, you know. And I mean, we play on stage together. We don't even look at each other, and we do stuff simultaneously without even. And we look at each other and laugh. It's like, really, you know. And people know us in this industry. They call us the Gremlins because once we step in, they see us coming. Oh shit! Here come these two. Because they know who we are, and we, again, we don't ask you to respect us. We earned it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why we know we deserve it, because we give you that same respect in return.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, Sally, before, as long as if you don't come at me, I ain't coming at you.
Right.
But if you come at me, it's on.
Mm-hmm. I respect everyone. I treat everybody
exactly.
Respect.
You cross that line.
I command respect too. You're gonna respect me. So if not, I'm gonna let you know about it.
Yeah, but that's the way the way you guys are. Mark and I have been playing together, and for more than 48 years now. Together. I shared the biggest stages, the smallest stages, the smallest rooms, hotel rooms, the biggest hotel. We traveled the world together. It's
essentially been playing with this dude our life. Like we're 48. You've been playing with our lifetime. You've been playing
exactly with Mark. Exactly.
Wow. And Bobby, you guys started it's Afro-Cuban, right? That's the origin of the music, or like the congas that when you started with Mark, what kind of music was it? It was just the salsa. It was
salsa. When I started with Mark Anthony, it was salsa music. That's what his base was. But fortunately, Mark Eunice and I, we've been blessed to be able to branch out and play on the other side in the American market, as well as the Latin market. So we've been fortunate enough to explore,
right?
Other genres, and
we need some American name drops.
Yeah, Sally, you see, I was just about to say, yo, Bobby, drop some American names. I want to know who you play with.
I played with Paul Simon. I play with Cyndi Lauper. I play with Wynton Marsalis. I play with Santana.
Okay.
It's just quite a few other. Let me get my resume. I'll be back.
Yeah. Everybody got lost. He said Wynton Marsalis. Everybody was like, "What?"
At the age of 8, I played with Buddy Rich on the Mike Douglas show. That's probably before your time.
That's black and white right there.
Yes, yeah, black and white is on the show. I remember it clearly. Buddy Rich on the show was Buddy Rich, Freddie Prinze, and George Kirby, the comedian.
Freddie Prinze
on the show. Yeah.
Ooh.
So I got to play with those cats and make a little bit of noise.
Wow. So now let's fast forward in the present time. What are some of the things that Bobby is going to be working on or would like to work on? Or are we looking forward to retirement?
I would like to eventually, but I still love my music so much. But I'm exploring in different avenues now. Okay. As you could see before the pandemic, all the big salsa concerts at the Barclay and stuff like that. Fortunately enough, I was Mark and myself are the ones that are in charge of putting the band together for all those events.
Nice.
So they call us. We're in charge. We have to put the band together and direct the band for at least 12 artists per show.
Wow.
So we do that, and I've been called on a lot. Thank God, and still do, to back up a lot of artists. When Charlie Aponte comes to town, when Jerry Rivera comes to town, I play Tito Nieves. I direct his band when he comes to town. In Maya Miranda, Tony Vega, those guys. So a lot of times they call me to put the band together, or one of my colleagues. So we're still doing that.
Wow. Listen, hold on. So hold your thought. You got to give us some name drops, bro. This guy is fucking heavy hitter out here.
Bobby, go. I was a part of a concert in MCU with the Doco Entertainment. Were you a part of that, organizing the bands there?
And MCU, with
Jerry Rivera, we had Tito Rojas, Jerry Rivera, and Jose Alberto Canario. I'm name dropping now. What's up?
Yeah.
That was a park in Coney Island. Right. No, I don't think I did that one. But I started working with Delco when he was doing the Hilton over here in Staten Island.
Hilton, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what.
You was a part of those concerts over here that they were having in Staten Island?
Yeah. I did a few of them when I helped them a lot get the artists. So I helped them get Tony. I think we had Tony one time.
Tony Vega.
Michael Stewart. We had Tito one time. Tito Nieves there as well. So
wait a minute, you're out here in Staten Island, no?
I am.
Oh, all right. I'm on the island too.
I can almost hear you. You're right next up, bro. I don't know why you're yelling.
Give it away. Give it away.
that do be them Staten Island places. Though.
What?
What part of the island you in?
Come on, bro. We're in public. This ain't public information.
The island is small, but yet so big. I get lost sometimes around this fucking island.
I'll tell you this. I live in the harbor.
He listens to rich people.
Bullshit.
He listens to
The rich people, they don't let us over there.
The left side of the bridge is the rich people.
Yeah, for real.
But are you close to Verrazano?
No.
Oh, you're on the other side.
My sister, and my brother-in-law live over there. And they were living by me. They moved over there. I stayed over here.
Yeah, I'm right off the Verrazano. I'm over here in Rosebank.
Mm-hmm. Listen, Bobby.
A gated community.
For real, right? I hit the buzzer. Meet me. I'm here to see Bobby. Bobby, so am I mistaken? I believe I was talking to Sally, or I was talking to somebody about you, and they had told me that you're thinking about, or you're in the process of opening up a school.
I'm in the process of it. I'm trying to do that. This is the first time. Again, I'm looking to do three things. I'm trying to bring back what I was brought up on. So the first thing I'm trying to do, I'm starting up a talk show / music show. It's gonna be called Conversaciones.
Okay.
The concept of the show is that up and coming or established bands are welcome no matter what you play. You could be fucking opera singer, doesn't matter the genre. You come, you perform, I interview you with my colleague, and we throw it up on our YouTube channel. You record it in 4K cameras, and it doesn't cost you nothing. What we ask is that you come prepared to play.
Right.
And give us your time. And that's one thing I'm doing with that show. Hopefully we'll start up soon. Nice. The next thing I do in the same complex, I want to be able to maybe open up a music school. Not that I'm going to teach, but you'll get the right teachers to do so. And reason why, because a bunch of the programs have been taken away from school.
Yes.
And there's no music schools anymore. So now you have kids either on the corner with their pants past their ass, or they're home playing video games, and they have no out. This is what they know, So it gives them an out to do something different and experiment with something different. So that's the second thing. The third thing is that I want to try to bring back summer concerts in one place.
Nice.
Back in our day, there used to be a thing. I don't know if you guys remember. There's a thing called the Jazzmobile. The Jazzmobile was a truck, a stage on wheels, and it used to be driven. So it used to have a schedule, and it used to tell you what day and what street is going to be parked at.
Wow.
On that Jazzmobile, you didn't know if it was Dizzy Gillespie that day. Tito Puente could have been that day. The next day it could have been Ray Barretto, but it would go to like Spanish Harlem one day. The next day it would be located in the Bronx. The next day it would be in Brooklyn. So it had different places it would park, but the music. In other words, they would bring the music to you,
right,
to the community. But what I want to do is try to get a day of the week to have, where people come from work, they go to where the music is going to be. And it's over before 9 o'clock. People have enough time to go home and have dinner. But at least they come from work and they go mingle with their friends, to go dance a little bit to some good music, and then they go home and have a decent dinner.
He's talking about that, and I'm hearing. No, I was actually thinking bacalaíto right now. So, fucking tissue just talking.
Full of grease. Yep.
Yeah,
I remember the summer always the Coney Island. They had by the aquarium. They used to always have the salsa concerts over there.
The Seaport,
the free concerts.
I used to play the Seaport a lot. I played so many shows in the Seaport. Where one of my first shows down there was at
Sequoias, yeah.
Wow.
With Mark Anthony, and you couldn't even walk in that place. That's when he started getting hot. So we toured like endless. And.
That was a
Sequoia. Yeah, Sequoia was one of the places, which between Sequoia and Le Poulet, those two clubs, you
Yo.
know.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You go
You know?
Thursday nights, let's play.
Yo, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yo, that was the spot.
Yeah,
And salute to Peter Caballero and DJ Blazer One and the brother Eric Medina, who used to hold Sequoias down. They had Sequoias on lock for a good run, like 5-7 years. Them guys had it down.
Yeah. No,
Salute to them, man.
place. Those are good places, man.
Yeah.
I mean, played like I said, there was clubs for everyone to go and have a good time.
But it's sad because Sequoia, the
old Copa.
Which
old Copa.
50 whatever and 10th and 11th or whatever.
No, that's not the old Copa.
No.
The old Copa was on 61st Street.
Yeah. It was 61st and what?
61st between 5th and Madison.
Oh yeah, that's the original joint.
Yeah, the original.
And they moved it up to the west side.
Right.
And then did it leave from there? That's
it went by Jacob Javits, I think, or something like that.
No. Yeah, Jacob Javits on 11th Avenue, and then it moved to 48th Street. Wow. Was the last one now that it closed.
Wow.
I remember it clearly because that's where I was playing the Copacabana on 61st Street.
Mm-hmm.
And you go there downstairs, you know, the crowds, that club was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing with a group called Grupo Fascinación. So we're playing, and one of the guys comes out and they go, "Hey, yo, Ralph Irizarry is looking for you." I'm like, Ralph Irizarry was Ruben Blades' timbalero. He used to play with Barreto and Ruben Blades. He used the timbalero for Ruben Blades. I'm like, I really had no personal, you know, whatever. So all right, I go upstairs, and Ralph was a big guy. He used to talk, "Yo, bro," he goes, "Bro, we have a little situation." I'm like, "What's going on, bro?" This is Tuesday. Remember, because Copa was Tuesdays. So he goes, "We have a situation. We got to go to Paris and Switzerland this weekend with Ruben Blades. But Eddie Montalvo, my idol, quit the group, or he got fired, whatever happened."
Right.
Yeah.
He quit the group, so we need a conga player, and you came recommended. I'm like, "Yeah, okay. And what are you telling me?" He goes, "Well, want to know if you want to go to Paris and Switzerland." You know, I didn't know the tunes, Ruben Blades tunes or whatever have you, you know. And I that was the one time I had a temporary job at the mailroom on Wall Street.
Oh man.
So, like, but I don't have a passport, dude, or anything. He goes, "It's okay. Tomorrow morning, you go to the management office, Dave Maldonado's office, and they're gonna give you a ticket. You go to passport agency, you give it, take your pictures, everything. They're gonna give you a check, whatever. The afternoon, you have your passport and whatever." Like, makes it sound easy. I said, "Okay, no problem." I got up the next morning. I went to work. They were like, "Hey, good morning, Robert." I said, "Hey, good morning. Hey, listen, it was what I quit and I left."
So fucking professional, this guy.
Fuck you. You're okay.
I never liked you anyway.
Yeah.
So I went.
Cabrón, tú. Wow.
Look at me now. Look at my ass, because that's the last thing you're gonna see. So, and I did that. I went to the office. I got my ticket. Long story short, I went to Paris and Switzerland with Ruben. Thought I had the job done. Thought I did a good job. Whatever. I was nervous as fuck because I didn't know the tune. It was on the job training.
Right.
So I remember the following week coming back, they had a concert at Madison Square Garden. So here I am. I said, "Yo, I got the gig. Cool. There's a show coming up. I'm excited." But I didn't get the call from Madison Square Garden. So that depression. Exactly. Depression was like, exactly. So depression was like, fuck, I must have really fucked up that gig royally. But I didn't know that they were going through options. So after the show, they used Papa Penguin, which is family also. They used him, and great. But then I got the call afterwards. "Listen, we have a whole week in Puerto Rico at Bellas Artes, and Ruben wants to know if you want to stay in the group, you know, whatever." And that's what
I just lost my mailroom job, brother. Of course. I do.
fucking right.
Yeah, I had to go kiss ass back in the mailroom to get that job back.
No, be like, tell Ruben.
I was only kidding, guys. What's up?
Yo, tell Ruben, he knows what I mean. He used to work in the mailroom too. Come on, give him a break. So, you know, and here we are, man.
Shit.
Here we are. So
Ruben Blades, tremendous man. That man, I want to say, you know, he's not only talented, he is super intelligent. And I think that's something that people don't really understand about Ruben.
mm-hmm.
Ruben is a very intelligent, highly educated gentleman.
Very, very. And I learned a lot of things by just sitting and having conversations with him.
Mm-hmm.
Ruben and I still to this day, I can call, you know, thank God I can
Call
call him.
all that.
I'd be like, Ruben, listen, Joe, you know, and go to his house. And my kids will sit in his house playing video games. I'm like, you guys know where you're sitting?
Yeah.
And they're like I was saying before, kids, I'm like, okay, yeah. We're in Ruben Blade's house.
That's Uncle Ruben. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, but
I'm gonna try to sit.
Yeah.
And
guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Cash App blessed 6145. Can we donate some money to get
him a chair.
Something to get? He needs help.
I'm back. Fucking clown, bro. I didn't know it was a comedy show, bro.
Yo, dude, you don't understand. This dude, growing up, calladito, being, you know, watching. When he hit a certain, I think it was when he came back from college, bro. His personality just blew up. Forget about it.
Yeah, man.
He's like, yo, you used to be quiet. Why now you don't shut the fuck up?
He was storing shit.
Jokes and jokes.
He was storing shit. No, but Ruben is a great individual. You know, simply because he sees life from a different perspective. Yes. You know, his mentality. If you hear his songs, you know, they create the greatest songs ever. Who would have thought that, you know, one of the biggest songs, El Cantante, you know, you sing it, Ruben sing it. He wrote it knowing that he wasn't the one that was supposed to sing it.
Sing that song, yeah.
You know, this belongs to Hector Lavoe. I'm writing it, but it's Hector's. You know, and he puts things that you go, how the fuck, you know, one time he tells me, Bobby, you know what? I don't lie. He goes, I said, okay, what does that mean? He goes, I don't lie. You know why I don't lie? He says, because if you tell a lie, chances are, if you run into that person again, not only do you have to remember the last lie, you're going to have to try to continue that last lie you said. And chances are you're not going to remember the last lie you told the individual. Yep. So that's why he says, that's why I don't lie. I tell it the way it is, you know?
I catch people on that shit all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
You know about that? Come on, man.
Motherfucker owns a bridge and doesn't have a cup of water.
You gotta love it.
You know what I'm saying?
That man is tremendous in so many different ways. You know, like I said, he's super intelligent, talented musically, great actor.
That is
great actor. Like I've seen him play different roles, and I'm like, this guy. Like my dad loves this guy and his music, and I love his music. Look at him. He seems like a natural in everything that he sort of does. You know what I mean?
Ruben's been through life lessons, and he's learned from each. You know, one of the most humble guy. Don't get me wrong; he has his days. You know, but I thank God that, you know, him and I. The most I got yelled at one time.
Really?
But it wasn't even my fucking fault.
Doesn't matter. You're getting yelled at anyway. Eat it.
Right. He yelled at me, the motherfucker, and then he came back on the bus. He was like, I'm sorry. It wasn't you. At least I can say, yo, that fucking Ruben apologized to me. Right?
Oh yeah, Bobby. No era la culpa tuya. Perdón. Discúlpame.
You know, exactly. It was like Ruben fucking
man.
Apologized to me.
You would imagine, but see that says a lot about his character, because you would imagine somebody of his stature, right? He would just be like, oh well,
too bad.
So what? I yelled at you. Fucking be glad you're here.
And there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of artists. I've seen a lot of artists like that, and it's like,
tell us, Bobby. Who? Tell us.
Oh, trust me. We'll cheat your hotline.
Yeah, for real, right? Oh my God, man. I have to say, you know, in gearing up for this moment, you know, it was fairly quick, but I was for a quick second intimidated because I was like, this is a gentleman who's done a lot. He has a large body of work. He knows and has been around the main players in the business. You know, I hope that we can somehow bring out, you know, the best of him. And I hope that I can ask the right questions to bring out him as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it just seems like, you know, I'm talking to one of my tios that I haven't seen in a while. It's just very natural and organic. And I think that your personality sort of supersedes everything else that you've done already in life. And you don't seem too, there's no arrogance in you. I think that's the best way for me to say it. You know, and I think that's the most important thing about what we do here. You know, selling myself, want to get people away from being starstruck, right?
Exactly.
And bring people to the show that can show them, like, listen, I'm just like you.
Absolutely.
You know, we've been through the same struggles.
I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like you do, brother.
I see me more. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
and I think that you and your story, man, you definitely got to write something, man. You got to put a book together, a movie, something, because I'm serious, because you come from a very poignant time in the history of this music, right? And there's so much there. You know, we've had the El Cantante with Mark Anthony that sort of brushed the surface of that time. Right?
I played the whole soundtrack, by the way.
Oh, come on, man. You see this dude? You see that he lets it out every once in a while.
I recorded that whole soundtrack, which is great.
What was that? What was that like, you know, working on that? It was, you know, how was it?
It was 2 days of recording. Easy
peasy.
Yeah, it was, because, you know, it's Hector Lavoe music, and, you know, it's like, oh shit, okay, let's play it. You know, you bring out that one, and I tell you one short story. This is one that's one of the reasons why I got to Ruben Blades, because of David Maldonado, who's Mark Anthony's manager, and a manager of a bunch of people, and I was musical director for Mark Anthony for over 17 years. Wow. So we got a shot. Ralph Mercado comes to me, he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a fucking shot." I'm like, "Ralph, what are you talking about?" Because they used to hate Mark Anthony's band because we were rebels, because we would go to clubs in jeans and t-shirts and hats and shit like that, and people were like, "There's a fucking club. You guys are not gonna get dressed," and we were rebels, and people hated it. So Ralph comes and goes, "I'm gonna give you a fucking shot." Like, what are you talking about, Ralph? He goes, "At the Garden, you guys are gonna open up for Fania. So I'm gonna give you a fucking shot. You better." I'm like, "All right, no problem, Ralph. Cool." He goes, "But you gotta come with a fucking uniform, bro. Not that bullshit." I'm like, "Ralph, you want us to come with a uniform? Give me some fucking money and I'll go buy a uniform. All right, come by the office tomorrow. I'll give you a check, you know, whatever." I remember it clearly. He gave me about $1,000 check or whatever. So we're like, okay, cool. So we get to the Garden, and I thank God that man always respected Mark Quinones and I. Like, he loved us. Ralph Mercado, just amazing. But we get there, he goes, "What the fuck is that?"
What were you wearing?
Suits.
I went out, and I bought everybody baseball jerseys with a matching baseball cap, but with different teams.
Yo, you were looking for you
said uniforms.
Exactly, that was my response. He goes, "What the fuck is that?" I said, "Oh, you say uniforms? It's a fucking uniform." And then Master Mark Anthony was like, "Yo, we're playing the Garden, man. You know, what are we gonna fucking do?" I said, "Mark, I got it. I got the idea. What we're gonna do is, when we get the announcers, we're gonna go on stage. The band's gonna be on stage. We're gonna go dark. The Madison Square Garden is gonna go dark, all dark. And then we're gonna start the rumble, just a low fucking rumble, and everybody rolling, you know, rumble. And then right there, you're just gonna come out and start singing Aguanile off stage. Off stage. Don't come on stage. Start off stage, and the rest is history."
They're not even gonna care.
The rest is, we started with Aguanile, brought down the house. we finished the set with Patria from Ruben Blades.
Ah, man. Come on, man.
Finally, I was going, these motherfuckers. These motherfuckers. So that's where Aguanile, Bobon Don Aguanile was born. And David Maldonado is my witness. And I'm not telling stories to get any credit. I don't need the credit because the credit is Mark's voice.
Right.
Sure.
He pulled it off, and I think that concert was the seal. The seal that you know, he was already growing, but that was the one that boom, 20,000 people on their feet when they heard this fucking guy's voice off stage. You know, that's a bone chiller.
Yeah.
You know, and not only that, it's a bone chiller. If you're gonna do Aguanile, motherfucker, you better do it better than Hector Lavoe.
Well, not better.
But I'm saying you gotta bring it step. You gotta bring it up.
Bring it close.
You gotta. Hector's here.
Yeah.
You better be at least here.
You gotta be on his ass.
At least here, exactly.
Yeah,
where you in his rear view mirror.
Yeah.
You know, because there's nobody can pull it, and you're seeing nobody can.
Wow.
Bobby, two things.
Be topped.
Bobby, two things. Were you a part of the Combinación Perfecta with Rafi Mercado and them?
Yes,
and
I
also
original member.
Okay, and also the Que Mató Hector Lavoe with Domingo Quiñones. So I heard you mention him before. Were you a part of that on the show, the play?
I was not, but I was part of the I Like It Like That, the recent one.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined the show, you're shit out of luck. You're gonna have to watch the rerun. Listen, man, this gentleman, man. So I don't know if you're seeing things from where I'm seeing them, but this is the second time that we've had somebody come on and just bring out the most realist, rawest interview, and I think make a connection in a way that's just way different.
I think it's a cultural connection. You know, like people have to really, you know, like this is history, man. This is knowledge being dropped right here.
For sure.
But you know, it's not even the point of knowledge being dropped. It's just being, like he said, bro. It's just being real. Because you know what, I've done all this shit, but what? And in all reality, what the fuck really makes me better than you?
Yeah, man.
What the fuck really makes me better than you? Because I'm on
all the names you were dropping.
Yeah, but that's one thing. But then you probably done stuff that I wish I've done or stuff like that. You know, we all have our gifts, man. But at the end of the day, that's all it becomes. It's names, places we've been. Because at the end of the day, you know what? We're all gonna be ashes. Same fucking way.
Way to bring the mood down, Bobby.
There you go.
Hold on, where is it? Ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined, you missed the show, watch the rerun. I want to say, you know, that we appreciate your time, Bobby. I'm in awe, and I respect you tremendously for giving us your time, and not only that, but giving us so much here in this conversation.
No, thank you for the invite, man. You know, I'm always,
of course. It's
about giving, man. It's about giving. It doesn't cost me nothing. Actually, you took me away from my wife probably wanted me to do some upstairs. No.
Yeah.
No, you go like this.
We tell everybody that we have on the show, you know, we're part of the family. So in the future, in the near future, in the summer, whenever, if there's ever a point in time where you want to promote something, like say your school or your new network show, whatever it is, and you want to promote, you want to talk, you want to shoot the shit, all you got to do is reach out. This is the people's platform. This is your platform, and that's all it takes. So
appreciate it.
This is where you can let everything out and reach the people.
Absolutely, right? Man. And same here, man. I'm only a phone call away, man. It's
thank you for coming on, for sure,
yeah, man. We're gonna be free summer concerts, yo, Bobby.
There you go.
I got the Jazzmobile.
Hey, you call. Yo, it's gonna be. If I get the approval on it and the funding for it, you know, it's gonna be my way of bringing not just a drop in the bucket, but at least it's a start of bringing the unity back that we miss, man. You know what it is? Cool. You see, Konya, you see Konya, I thought you were dead, but you know, she's like, no, I'm still here. You know, Notavito, to dance and, you know, to show up and hear music and laugh a little and reminisce. bottom line, and reminisce and be able to say, "Coño, this great music. We're talking, está bailando un poco. Now let's go home and have a good dinner." You know, and just and you go, and then you got the average Puerto Rican that goes, "No, los jueves no me moleste porque voy a estar en la plaza." Ya tú sabes que yo, no. El jueves yo estoy primero en la línea en la plaza.
Yeah,
you know? So they plan.
It's important to bring back the orgullo.
Exactly.
Right? We need that.
It's missing.
Yes.
It's missing, you know.
Yes.
Maybe the set will throw a concert soon, you know, once things open back up. You never know.
There you go.
We working towards doing something big, and who knows? Listen, who knows? It may be some comedy with some salsa. Who you never know.
I had ideas. They didn't want to take my ideas in our concert, so I got some ideas.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Robert Bobby.
Don't say Robert. You got to cut him a check. You say Robert.
It's too late. It's too late. You better sell me the fucking money, bro.
Yeah. Fuck up the last name again. Allende.
Allende.
You better sell me the fucking money, bro.
Yo, thank you, Bobby, man. Appreciate you. If you could hang out a few minutes while we go off.
Hang out in the group. Let us close the show. We'll talk, man. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
Brother, I can't tell you. Woo, just talking to dude, it's like I told you, it feel like you catching up with a family relative. Like it's on that level.
Yeah, man.
But the stories.
No, for sure. I mean, John Rodriguez was the same way, and you can see where it comes from. Like, you know, him paying it forward is just amazing.
Sure. And listen, so before we close out the show, I just want to put this on the table to you. I was having a conversation with a gentleman while I was setting up, and we might have a special guest coming on in another week or two. Yeah, just sort of in this vein, musician,
nice, and
part of music history. And I think that everybody's gonna want to see this shit. Like,
oh yeah,
this is special. So
stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned, because if and when it does happen, you are gonna want to see this show. It's gonna be tremendous, and it is geared and steeped in hip hop. So you're gonna want to watch that show. All right. So we out of here?
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe
we
Sunday.
Out of here, people. Yeah, we'll see you Sunday.